Hello, beautiful people of YouTube. Nika here with your daily neuro nugget. I hope you had an awesome Valentine's Day because here we are ready to talk about, of course, the most important case in history of all histories. And while I do it, why not embody Martha Stewart? I mean, why look like Kim Kardashian when you can look like Martha Stewart? She's awesome. I mean, this lady cooks, bakes, cleans, gardens, and looks hot while doing it. Plus, hasn't she been to jail and no Snoop Dogg? Like, of course, who wouldn't want to be Martha Stewart? Now, grab your favorite drink. I have Cancerina here. It is known as Stimularium mexicanum in Latin, and it has been used for thousands of years in Mexico from an old ancient remedy to actually treat cancer, along with a host of other issues, specifically respiratory issues, so asthma. It is a very strong tasting tea. It can be quite bitter. And of course, if I'm sharing these teas with you, always do your own research because all teas, just like any herbal supplements, may have some secondary effects. So we need to talk about Kaylee, because this has been a rumor for quite some time now, and it's a very interesting rumor because if it is true, then that would most definitely give Jack D, her ex-boyfriend, even more motive. Now, for those of you who have not yet watched yesterday's video, please go ahead and do that because we go into some detail about their relationship there. Today we're going to expand on that because it is my opinion, it is my speculation that Jack D was forgotten about by Moscow Police Department very quickly. He was very quickly cleared, and for all of those who like to keep tabs on these types of cases, you know that if it is a spouse or an ex-boyfriend, they are rarely cleared this quickly. So it should raise an eyebrow that he was cleared so quickly, especially when he was caught lying from the get-go. Now, I went back to the very first interviews that Kaylee's parents did because I wanted to refresh my memory. So what did Steve say in that interview? What did Kaylee's mom say? Steve said that one of the last messages, allegedly, that Kaylee left for Jack said, "Jack, get back to me. We share a dog together." In this same interview, we see Kaylee's mother saying that we love Jack. We are with Jack 1000%. The mother also went on to say they were on the mend back together, that there was no animosity, and that Kaylee had split up with Jack. Kaylee split up with Jack, not the other way around. So that to me is a very important thing to keep in mind. The mother mentioned that Kaylee just wanted to take a little break. So allegedly, somebody had been stalking Kaylee. Is it possible that Jack D stalked her during the breakup? Because per Steve and per Kaylee's mother, they had been keeping in touch on a daily basis. Kaylee was allegedly contacting Jack, and Jack was contacting Kaylee, and they were communicating on a daily basis. But just because you talk to somebody on the phone or text them briefly does not mean that they may not still be stalking you, that they may not be obsessed with you. So is it possible in this case? We know that Kaylee had a new vehicle a new career? Is it possible that she had a new man? Because the rumor of Kaylee potentially being pregnant while the crime took place makes it even more interesting. Of course, we don't know because so little has been revealed about the autopsies and how the bodies were found that, of course, one can only speculate. But if that were true, would it not give Jack D even more motive to potentially commit such a horrible crime? Because when we remind ourselves, Kaylee broke up with Jack. Kaylee wanted a little break. Kaylee was moving on without Jack. Is it possible that this led Jack to be enraged? And is it possible for a young, beautiful woman to maybe have another partner while she is on this little break from her boyfriend? I think it's quite common for young people to have multiple partners, and even more likely if she was broken up, if she had no ties to Jack D during her breakup. Is it possible that if she did have another physical partner, that maybe she ended up getting pregnant? Again, one can only speculate. You let me know down in the comments. What do you think? Do you think Kaylee was maybe seeing other people? Because there is a video where the police go over to the house and we see, in my opinion, what appears to be a very flirtatious cop when Kaylee comes out. But we also see Kaylee with a young man. The young man comes to the door before Kaylee does. So is it possible that maybe they were together? Maybe they were just friends. Maybe he just happened to be there. But still, young people, single people, one can speculate. Now, is it possible that Jack was obsessed? Is it possible that Jack was keeping tabs on her? Because this is actually quite common. People becoming obsessed, men becoming obsessed, especially if your partner is telling you it's just a little break. Is it possible that he was waiting for her to come back and say, I'm ready, take me back. I took my little break, I cleared my mind, we can be back together. But as many jealous partners often do, stalk their partners on social media, keep tabs on them. Remember, Jack D lived right around the corner. He had view of the house. Could he have maybe seen who was entering and leaving the home? Maybe other young men entering and leaving with Kaylee? Maybe a young police officer? We don't know. Now, we also have seen Jack talking to Chief Fry at the Corner Club. We've all seen that short clip, those freeze frames. But Jack said he was asleep. Did he forget to mention that he was at the Corner Club? Was Jack lying? Because when we look at the timeline, it would mean that he basically very quickly went home and very quickly fell asleep. And then there were also people saying that no, he was actually playing video games and didn't hear his phone. This case is so unclear. It is so confusing. But in my opinion, Jack D seems to be contradicting himself quite a lot. Now, when I went back to watch that video of Kaylee's parents, and we see Kaylee's mother being so sure that there is no way that Jack could be involved. There's no way that Jack could have done something so horrible, right? Because Kaylee's mom looks so sure of herself. She says, we are with Jack 1000%. Is it possible that her mom is just in denial? As many mothers would be. Because I know if I had a beautiful, young, amazing, brilliant daughter who had been dating somebody for years, and I didn't catch the fact that he could be a creep, that he could do horrible things, of course it would make me feel guilty. If he was the one that did the crime, right? It would make you feel like a horrible parent, especially, I think, to a mother. Like, you're a mother, your mother instincts didn't go off. What's wrong with you? I think a lot of mothers would feel that way. So, of course, it's completely normal to not want to blame Jack. Now, in yesterday's video, we covered the fact that Steve wanted Jack to remove his clothing so that he could be inspected before entering the home. Some of you said that this was weeks after. Some of you said that it was a day after, and that after that whole thing happened, Steve mended his relationship with Jack. But does it mean that Jack did not commit the crime just because he did not have bruises? Just because he did not have cuts? Is it possible that Jack D was involved in this crime, directly or indirectly? Is it possible that if he was involved in the crime, that he maybe had other people with him? Is it possible that maybe it was the other people who were the ones that could have had cuts, bruises, wounds? You let me know. What do you think? Because I'm of the opinion that just because you don't have any physical wounds on you does not clear you. But that's just me. Now, Kaylee's mother also went to say that Jack D was very distraught after the IDAHO4, as everyone else was. But what else could make an angry lover be distraught? Maybe the fact that he was potentially involved in the crime, maybe trying to think, did I forget something? Did I leave something? Did I cover my tracks? Does anyone know? Is anyone going to find out? Because that would also be quite distracting, right? If he were to have been involved in one way or another. Now, we know Kaylee dated Jack for years. And we also know that Kaylee was going to Europe with friends before moving to Texas. Okay, she was moving to Texas alone. Do you think that his ego would allow him to accept that? Because we have seen several cases, statistically, men, women do it too, but statistically, men do it more, unfortunately, right? Because we see their ego take over. They are often dumped or heartbroken by a beautiful young woman. And when their ego does not allow them to accept that this beautiful young woman is moving on without them, they just snap. So is that something that could maybe have happened in this scenario, this crime, this horrible thing? What do you think? Because unfortunately, this is quite common. And I've mentioned that I do have 2 degrees in psychology. I am not, Jack's therapist, but I do understand there are people who are volatile narcissists. And we know that these narcissists are all about appearances. So they can go on for a very long time and pretend to be the perfect boyfriend, the perfect partner, the perfect wife. They're playing a role for the world to see. The world is their stage. And the most dangerous time for a woman is when she leaves a relationship. Isn't that heartbreaking? Even if you're a single man watching this, One day you may have daughters, or you may have sisters, or you may have a mother who finds herself, hopefully not, who finds herself in a horrible situation where she has to leave a horrible relationship. This is the most dangerous time for a woman in her life, leaving a relationship. Why? Because the ego of many men does not allow them to accept the fact that this woman is moving on. Coming back to the crime, we understand this is a crime of passion. Whether you agree with this or not, this was planned. It was likely committed by somebody who knew the victims, who knew the home. So, statistically speaking, it was likely a lover. And in this case, 3 females, we could assume that maybe the lover was male. And when you have a male who was just broken up with, is getting ditched. He was literally getting ditched. Not only that, but there was a dog involved. Cute little Murphy. And she was taking Murphy with her. Do you think that was just like, ugh, another stab in the heart for Jack? I don't know. How would you feel? How would you feel if you were Jack? And your partner was going to take a little break from you. Just a little break. While going to Europe and moving on and traveling and going to Texas and having maybe other young men over. And you can see what your partner is doing because you live right across. You don't live far from your partner. Would that piss you off? Because just thinking about it pisses me off. I think these emotions are human. They are normal. We are allowed to feel these emotions. That is acceptable. You should feel them, but you should not act on them. You definitely should not IDAHO4 Moscow because you feel a certain way. Of course, I'm not saying he did or didn't. I'm just painting a picture. I'm just painting scenarios, painting possibilities. But when we come back to statistics, we know men do this a lot. A lot. So, again, we should always put ourselves in the shoes of other people to try to understand them, not to make excuses for them, but just to understand, especially when we're talking about crimes. Because I could understand why somebody would be so hurt, damaged even. And these volatile narcissists often think, if I can't have her, nobody will. Therefore, I will do X, Y, Z. Because this person, which are seen as often things by narcissists, this person belongs to me. So I will destroy this person, aka thing. Volatile narcissists often see people like they would a Chanel purse. It is a thing to flaunt, to carry around, to show off. And if this thing, aka person, tells you, bye, I'm gonna take a little break from you, and I'm taking the dog, then this person is no longer useful to you. Therefore, narcissists often go into the discard phase. Let's discard this person, as they are no longer of value to me. That is my point of view. If we are to analyze this from a psychological perspective, again, this is very common And we know that Jack D has a lot of ties with a lot of the fraternity members. So is it possible that if he were involved in this horrible crime, that he did not act alone? That maybe he had other people help? Let me know down in the comments. What do you think? People don't like to talk about this because they say we are bashing Jack D. We are not bashing Jack D. We are just analyzing potential scenarios. As we are analyzing Koberger, as we are analyzing other fraternity members, as we are analyzing the creepy driver, which so many people get upset when I talk about him. They say, it's not him, it's somebody else. Please, why are you defending him? But somebody else did the interview. I think Eric gave those interviews and thought there was going to be confusion. I think he tried to confuse the public on purpose. He's the only Eric Gower, Gower, in Moscow that is a driver. Is it possible that Eric Gower gave false statements to news sources? I think so. I think it is very possible. Is it possible that Eric Gower knew Jack D? Is it possible that the private driver and Jack D worked together? Anything is possible, it seems like, in this case. So, what do you think of this whole Jack D jealous boyfriend perspective? Do you think that Jack D could be a jealous boyfriend? And did he not keep Murphy? It's all very strange. So, don't want this to end. Keep drinking your tea, guys. Oh, did I say have a happy Valentine's Day? I hope you had a happy Valentine's Day. I got lots of flowers back there, so I feel blessed. And by the way, thank you guys. I forget that there are the super tips on here. So I really appreciate those. I'm actually probably going to use that stuff to go buy myself a really yummy meal. I love Indian food, so it's probably what I'm going to have tonight. So you guys have a wonderful night. Take care, and thank you guys for all the super tips. Thank you guys for all the comments and all the thumbs up, because it's awesome, right? We're growing. Surely we are growing, and we get to talk about this crazy freaking case. It's just driving us all insane. So have a wonderful night, and take care. Also, do you like the Martha Stewart look? I just need Snoop Dogg to hang out with me. Bye-bye.